Hey guys, what I'm about to show you is so I haven't actually tested this, but in theory this will be a very high damage Swirl comp. Most of these characters are pretty underleveled. I am rank 55, world level 8, and using 3 level 60s and 1 level 80. So let's go ahead and put on some food to get those level 60s up to speed, and then give this a shot. See, Pyro or Animo? Let's go with Animo. So, what do we think? The builds here. This Sucrose has it's 52 only because of the potion. It's usually right around 27. We've got very little energy recharge, high crit rate, high crit damage. Now this crit rate is lower than the last video I made because I had to swap her hat. The Widasith is still on Sucrose here. We've got a much lower level crit rate hat now. The Constellation is C1, and then the talent levels are still level 3. We've got Zhongling here. She has very low attack, but her crit rate is good, and her crit damage is fine. She has extremely low energy recharge, so doing something like this takes a bit of setup, considering that Zhongling already has trouble with particles. Her pyro damage bonus is extremely low because I don't even have a 5-star pyro damage goblet. Let's see, but mostly we went in on elemental mastery here, and we have this Dragon's Bane, which is where a bunch of our extra damage comes from. Our artifacts is 4-piece Burning Witch. You really want a crit rate hat and get a good bit of crit damage. We have an elemental mastery timepiece, and we have this feather, which has some good crit rate and some good crit damage. We've got this flower, which has very high crit damage. The hat, crit rate, crit damage. The timepiece, energy recharge a little bit, and elemental mastery. I need to replace this, I just haven't gotten a better one. And then this goblet, it's just the best pyro damage goblet I have. I've been looking for a better one for some time now. I currently have C4. If you get C6, this will be so much better, but I just haven't been able to get that. Talent levels as follows. We've got Zincho. His build hasn't changed since the last video. Still got Sack Sword, really the only weapon for him. We've got 2-piece Noblesse Oblige, 2-piece Hydro, built mostly for elemental mastery. We've got only C2 on him, so C2 is really good because it helps the Swirl a lot. But if you can get C4, you can actually use him in the middle of it to really increase your damage. And C6 is just crazy. His talents still, since he's only level 60, this is as high as it can go, but you want to level his ult as much as you can. Then we've got our Baidu here. Still got Snow Tomb Star Silver, because that's my highest attack Claymore. If you have it, use Rain Slasher. Using 2-piece Noblesse Oblige, 2-piece Thundering Fury. Oh shoot, I was actually using the wrong set here. Generally, you want to have some more energy recharge. That was a feather with a bunch of crit damage on it. So yeah, we want as much energy recharge as we can get here with our energy recharge timepiece. We've got flower here with some energy recharge. This goblet is only here because it's a 5-star electro damage goblet. Constellation, I've only got C2. C4 isn't super helpful, but it's not bad. C5 is extremely helpful for this. Just leveling up your ult as much as you can. We've got C6 as well, which is also extremely helpful. But I haven't got those. Talents, want to level up your ult as much as you can. Let's see. So we end up here with 192 energy recharge, good bit of crit rate, though remember that's bolstered by the Adeptus Temptation. Then we've got crit damage here. That is not bolstered by food. Her electro damage is so easy to get up. She can hit 90%, I believe. And then with so yeah, once again for Sucrose, alternative weapons, best is sack frags, but if you don't have either sack frags or the Witticism, Mappa Mare is a really nice option. And then we've got, for Zhongling, really, Dragon's Bane is just so much better for this comp than any other weapon is. But you could use a white tassel if you don't have a crit rate hat, just because her crit rate is so important. Crescent Pike would work fine, but just because it has pretty high base attack, it's really not what you want to go for if you're going for this comp. See, great thing about this Zhongling build is that it can main DPS, it can sub DPS, it can support. I've already discussed the weapons on this one and this one. So with that, I think, so the last video I used Zhongli instead of Zhongling. Now, alternatives to those two are Mona works fine, but not like particularly well, just because she works really well, but double Hydro isn't very good for this team comp. It doesn't really add much at all, and her damage boost is just, you really want someone with extra hitboxes most of the time, extra damage, extra attacks. You've got Bennett that can work really well too. See, when he's got a normal set, he's got over 2,000 attack. His main function is to just drop his ult and give you as much extra attack as possible. It's really easy actually to hit the point where he's giving you over 1,000 extra attack. But that only happens with C1. So once you hit C1, you're good. Then it's just crazy. See, other options, Noelle, if you want to shield her. If you're just running around the world with this team instead of just fighting bosses, you generally want a shielder or a healer. And Noelle is both. So if you have a Noelle built, or at least slightly leveled, a level 70 Noelle would get the job done just fine. Because if we want to take a look, we've got Sucrose, squishy, Zhongling, squishy, Xingqiu. He's squishy in and of himself, but he helps make other people not squishy thanks to his damage reduction that we get on this. And then we've got Baidu here, who isn't squishy at all, but she can definitely, she also gets damage reduction on her ult, I believe. Yeah. The thing is that Noelle will just give you so much more safety. It'll make it a lot more comfortable. I would use Noelle instead of Zhongling probably, just because these two with Sucrose are really the base of, these three characters are really the base of the team. Fischl works too, because getting double Electro makes Baidu's ult so much more consistent, and you don't have to run as much energy recharge on her. So you can just you can go more in for crit rate and crit damage on Baidu instead of energy recharge if you use Fischl. Plus, Oz, if you're ever caught when you're on cooldown, Oz will give you consistent damage and consistent particles while you're trying to get everything back up, because this is a team that does need to set up a bit. Barbara works fine just because extra Hydro, but really Xingqiu is just better at everything you would want her for in this team. I mean, Leona works fine, but she's not particularly good here. I think that's most of the swaps that you would really want to think about with, let's see, yeah, I'd say that's about it. That's it for this video. So long. Farewell.